it's Nicole, also known as Nikki Vegan, and today I'm going to show you 3 roll-up recipes that I think are the epitome of the lazy summer lunch or kind of indulgent snack. You know those long, lazy summer days, maybe it's on the weekend or maybe you're just in from being on the beach or at an amusement park. You want something that tastes really good, is kind of a summery treat, but really, really easy to make because no one wants to spend a beautiful summer day in the kitchen. So for those days, these roll-ups are going to be your best friend. I've got a vegan patty melt roll-up, a Mediterranean veggie, and also a banana split roll-up that is so good. I'm so excited for you guys to try these recipes, so let's get started. So we're gonna start with this patty melt roll-up, which is like a classic patty melt hamburger, but way faster and in a dunkable form, which is so fun. So all you're gonna do is take half of a white onion, go ahead and saute that. I'm sauteing in water, you can use oil if you want. I add a pinch of salt for flavor, and then I just saute this until the onions become translucent after a couple minutes. And what you see is that they kind of stick to the bottom, the sugars kind of caramelize, and the water or the oil gets absorbed. At that point, you wanna add another little splash of water or oil just to deglaze the pan, and this will create the perfect caramelized onions. In the meantime, I like to go ahead and make the Thousand Island dressing. For this, I just add 2 tablespoons of vegan mayo, 2 tablespoons of plain unsweetened vegan yogurt, and 2 tablespoons of ketchup into a container that has a lid. I put that in there along with a tablespoon of water and a tablespoon of sweet relish and a teaspoon of rice vinegar. Any kind of white vinegar will do. Don't worry, I've got all the measurements written out in the description box below. I add some flavor with half of a teaspoon of sea salt and half of a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I just finish this with a few grinds of fresh black pepper. Then just shake it up, like I said, to emulsify it, make this nice and creamy, and it's gonna turn this really gorgeous, kind of light peachy pink color, classic Thousand Island color, and then you can just pop a lid on this and keep it in the fridge till you're ready. Moving on to the burger part of this patty melt, I'm just gonna take a little help from the grocery store and use a frozen veggie burger. You can use any kind of burger you like. I like this one because it has a little bit less salt, so I can control how salty this is gonna be. But if you really want it to taste like a burger, I recommend using something like the Beyond Burger or something like that. You could also do crumbled sausage or even season up some lentils with some steak seasoning, and that will give it a little bit of a meaty taste as well and make it a little healthier. So kind of up to you on what kind of burger you want to actually use. I just microwave it for a minute to thaw and then mash it with a fork so it's kind of like ground beef texture. Then I'm gonna take a warm flour tortilla. This is a large whole wheat tortilla, but you can use any kind you like. And I'm just gonna spread a generous layer of the Thousand Island dressing as the base. This is really gonna add tons of flavor and also act as kind of the glue that holds all of our toppings together. Now, to make the melt part of the patty melt, we're gonna add some vegan cheese. I like this really finely grated blend from So Delicious. I find that it melts really nicely and it has a good flavor, but I also really love Follow Your Heart and BioLife. I find that all of those melt really nicely as well. So if you're looking for a good vegan cheese option, those are the 3 that I recommend. I will write them out in the description box for you. I love this because it's got all of the things I love about a patty melt. It's got the burger with the cheese and the Thousand Island, that kind of sweet and tangy dressing, along with those caramelized onions. I like to serve this with lots of ketchup and Thousand Island on the side for dunking, and man, it is delish. Next up, we're gonna be making these Mediterranean veggie roll-ups, and these are so simple but so flavorful. And for this, you're just gonna need 1 large zucchini. I like to drizzle a tiny bit of oil on top just to really get these really flavorful and roasted. The oil is optional. I season this very generously with some sea salt and some plain breadcrumbs. And I also like to add some rosemary. Now, I don't know if this trick actually does anything, but I've heard that if you kind of break up dried rosemary in the palm of your hand, it re-releases some of the flavors and makes it even more potent. So I do that every time. No idea if it actually works, but it tastes good when I do it this way, so that's what I do. Then I'm just gonna kind of coat the zucchini in the breading mixture, make sure it's in a nice flat layer, and then I'm gonna bake this at about 400 degrees for about 15 minutes or until it's kind of golden brown and softened. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and make a homemade vegan ricotta that doesn't actually have any vegan cheese in it, but it tastes really cheesy and it adds a really nice creaminess to the roll-up, but it also adds some natural plant protein, which is really great because it makes these a little bit more filling and satiating. So for this, I'm just gonna go ahead and take some firm tofu. This is 1 whole block of firm tofu. I drain the water and I add it to a food processor, or you can use a blender if you like. And then to make it cheesy, I'm gonna add nutritional yeast, and I'm gonna add lots of flavor with oregano, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Then to mimic that slight tang that cheese normally has, I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice. This is the juice of half of a lemon. And to make this really nice and creamy, I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of olive oil. This is optional, and again, all of the measurements are written out in the description box below. Then I'm just gonna blend this until it's nice and smooth, and as you can see, it turns into the most delicious vegan ricotta. It's really nice and thick, and I feel like if you kind of wanna use this for any ricotta recipe, it will work. You can use this for pastas like lasagna, it works really well. This is also really nice as a spread on sandwiches or to serve on a cheese plate with some crackers and veggies. Really, really great. So again, a warm flour tortilla. I'm gonna do a very generous tablespoon, it's probably like 2 tablespoons here. I'm just gonna spread that really nice and thick on top of the tortilla, and then I'm gonna put 1 zucchini spear. Now you can add as many veggies as you like. I just did 1 so that I could roll it up nice and neat. I don't know if you've seen my other videos where I make burritos and things, but I tend to overstuff wraps and burritos and it turns into a mess. So I'm trying to get better at that. Anyway, I add that along with lots of fresh basil, some sun-dried tomatoes, and freshly cracked pepper. And I like to serve this with some warm marinara sauce, just straight out of the jar, super easy, but this is so flavorful with that creamy ricotta and the fresh basil, the sun-dried tomato, and then that marinara sauce. It's so perfect. And finally, I think this one might be my favorite. It's so good. This is a banana split roll-up. So for this, you're going to need 2 ripe bananas and a handful of roasted peanuts. I like roasted salted peanuts for this. I'm just gonna give those a rough chop, and then I'm gonna melt some vegan chocolate chips. Now, if you've ever tried to melt vegan chocolate, or actually any chocolate chips in the microwave, they can kind of clump up and get really hard, and the trick to avoiding that is to actually not melt them all the way. Just do 10 seconds and stir, 10 more seconds and stir, and then they should kind of look like this, still kind of lumpy, but if you take it out and then stir it until it's perfectly smooth, you will get the perfect chocolate sauce. Now this is obviously good for coating bananas, but it's also really good for things like ice cream and stuff. So just a great little hack to have in your back pocket. But I like to make sure that the bananas are perfectly coated. I roll them in the salty, crunchy peanuts, and then I set that in the refrigerator to kind of firm up the chocolate. This only takes about 10 to 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and make the roll up. So again, a warm tortilla and a generous amount of jam. Now I recommend raspberry. This one is actually a blueberry raspberry combo from IKEA. It's so good. If you can get your hands on this one, I highly recommend it. And you want to be quite generous here. This is a treat food, a treat snack. So I recommend doing a pretty good layer of jam because this is really gonna kind of hold everything together and it creates the best flavor combination because what we have is a creamy chocolatey coating on the banana, that sweetness from the banana, and then there's like this tartness from the berry jam, that crunchy, salty note from the peanuts. And then I love to put either ice cream or vegan whipped cream on top with some fresh berries and chocolate chips, like really deck it out and make it so good. This combo is insane. I love it so much and I'm so excited for you to try it. I want to know which one of these roll-ups you're most excited to try first, so let me know in the comments. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button, but also make sure that you hit that little bell button because that will make sure that you are notified whenever I post a new video. And trust me, there are a lot coming your way because I have a lot already filmed. I'm just working on editing them and getting them up to you as soon as possible. So I hope you guys will subscribe and I will see you back here very soon. Bye!